Hey y'all, welcome back. This one's going to be on my updated TSA toolkit. So I recently was on my trip to Ireland. So it was a direct flight, went from our local airport all the way to Dublin, and it went through the airport security 4 times in total. I was stopped every time, but nothing was ever confiscated. Um, Couple of rules I have with this is one, I never keep it inside the backpack when I'm traveling through TSA. I always pull it out and put it inside the bucket so they have direct access to it. And two, I never travel with this Steelman with the bits in. Um, Apparently, some horizontally stacked small items appear to be something different than bits, and they may go pew. And so every time they were in there going through, it was always stopped and always much more critically reviewed. So I usually clip this to the side of the pack here. So to start off, this is the Viper Aid X-Pack little EDC pouch. This is supposed to be big enough for passport size. First I do is this clips onto the side. Um, it doesn't have the extension anymore. I replaced it with a different extension and I took the bits out. So this is just the driver. This is the Steelman. They are finally back in stock on Amazon. All the links that I could find for these items will be down there um, if you want to use those. So that's the Steelman's bit kit. Usually this is full. If I get to my destination, I will put them back in here while I carry this around. The other few items on the outside is my Knipex mini cobras. These things are lifesavers. I can't tell you how many times I've used this for little mini pry bar or even as just as their intention and pliers, but because I can't carry a multi-tool and I do not check luggage, this has always come in handy as my little bit kit. A new addition is this little triplet mini multimeter. I can't tell you how many times I've gone somewhere and somebody asked me to help them kind of debug something, and I couldn't because of a multimeter. I wasn't able to access its voltage or anything like that, and I was trying to test either electronics or sockets or what. Um, I was in Europe, and there was a socket that they weren't sure was properly wired because it was burning out all of their plugs, and I really wanted to be able to test it, and they didn't have a multimeter. I know that seems really excessive, but you know what? I can basically do all handyman items that necessary outside of power drilling holes with this kit, and that makes me feel a lot more comfortable because I'm a guy who likes to carry a multi-tool on a daily basis. Um, Speaking of, I usually carry the Leatherman P Free 4, the big full-sized one. I'm not sure that they're necessarily available anymore. I don't know why. Now they came out with the Arc, but if I can find links to any of the ones that I carry, even though I don't have them here, I will link them below for your benefit. And then that is everything on the outside of this little carabiner. This has a million different uses if you know carabiner. On the inside, just a big dump pouch. I keep these little shears. Um, these are the same ones from my first kit, from my first video. They still lasted. I use them all the time. They stay in my backpack. They stay in my TSA kit. These have never been flagged. This is the only thing that's ever been flagged when screening. So little shears. This can cut a penny in half. I've got my tried and true Stanley Power Lock. I've had this for probably a decade. I used to EDC carry this in my pocket. So this is several years of EDC carrying in my pocket and travel. I just love this one in particular. 10 foot, I think it's my minimum. I've tried the 3 foot one, the little keychain guy. It's garbage. I've had really good luck. Something that many people probably don't carry, but I do, is this is Dyneema cord. I think I carry this one over a hank of like 550 because most of the time I don't need that much burly cordage. This is super lightweight, extremely strong, water resistant. If you know anything about Dyneema in the backpacking world, this thing, it has a million and one uses like any rope would. Really like it. Always keep a hank of that on me. This is the extender. I got rid of the original one here. I don't remember exactly why, but it got damaged somehow. So I just replaced it with this guy. And yes, this does fold up. It's a little shorter than the original extension, but it folds up just fine. It's magnetic, like you'd hope. And the cool thing is, if I need to, I can use that as well, which I used to do instead of carrying this, but that's a little hacky. So I went back to this. And for light duty stuff, you can just use this as a little screwdriver. You've got plenty of grip, um, but that's the way I do that. And then I do have a little bit of wire, just a little bit more strong for this, depending on what you're wiring up. I've never had to use this outside of like camping stuff. I hung my backpack and stuff with this before I had that. And then this guy, the Night Eyes. I think it's just the fish multi-tool, scraper, cutter. These are a little gimmicky. The only thing I ever used these for was making package opening a little easier. I've never had this taken either. The Gerber Shard probably would be a good alternative to that. And then the only other thing I've got in here, oh, actually, I've got one more small thing. Little penny nails. These are just tiny little nails. Again, not specific use cases, nails are nails. And then here's all the bits. Not all of these bits are original to this kit. I kind of replaced these with ones that I would use. Got two Phillips. Then I've got the T20 and the T15, and then two flat heads and two square head, or a flat head and two square heads. These are just the most common bits that I would come across and or use. So that's what I keep in here. Um, I'm not exactly sure what the original bit selection is. I may have just swapped them out with different sizes, honestly. I just know that some of these are not original to the Steelman kit. Not that these were bad, they just weren't exactly what I use on a daily basis. And that's it. That is my TSA toolkit. This is my travel handyman setup. I've done a lot of things, a lot of fixes, a lot of tinkering with this kit, and yeah, I love it, and I would highly recommend.